Okay, so imagine stepping into a house, maybe one that's seen generations unfold. Seeing these incredible architectural transformations, maybe hold some surprising twists right in its foundations.
Right, like layers of history just waiting there.
Exactly. And what if you could, peel back those layers?
Understand not just the building itself, but the lives, the times,
Hmm.
the whole community around it.
Absolutely. And today, that's what we're doing. We're taking a deep dive into just such a place.
Mm-hmm.
The Zehr Estate at 208 Chemung Street in Waverly, New York.
And our source material here is fantastic. It comes straight from the current owners, Amy and Brad Zehr.
Right. They've done this meticulous research, summarized it all, really piecing together the history of this amazing Victorian Eastlake-style home.
Yeah, it's incredible work. So our mission really is to dig into that research,
Okay.
uncover the fascinating bits of knowledge. We'll look at how the architecture changed, the important families who lived there, this really strange story about an octagon house.
An octagon house. Okay.
Yeah, and even, well, a tragic accident that happened there.
Wow.
So it's going to be an insightful journey, kind of a shortcut to getting you well informed about this really remarkable piece of local history.
Okay, let's start with the present then. With the people bringing it back to life, Amy and Brad Zehr. They bought it when?
March 2010.
That's right, March 2010. And it's clearly a huge labor of love for them.
You could tell?
Yeah, they're on this ongoing mission restoring and revitalizing this Eastlake-style house. They describe it as having a somewhat Gothic look.
I can see that.
And they're even sharing the whole process. They have a YouTube channel at Victorian Estate
Cool.
History.
So people can actually watch the restoration happen.
Exactly. And their ideas for the future, they're thinking big, maybe guided tours, perhaps rental space for small events, educational getaways, teas, even short-term stays. Or, maybe just keep enjoying it as their home.
Lots of possibilities. It shows real dedication, doesn't it? It really does. And, their connection is deeper than just buying it in 2010. There's this really poignant story they shared.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the summer of '84, a woman named Charlotte Knapp stopped by.
Okay.
Brad was actually up on a ladder painting the main house. He and Amy were living there at the time in the third-floor east apartment while she was in nursing school.
Wow, okay. So they were tenants then?
Right. And Charlotte asked Brad, which apartment do you live in? And Brad asks her back, well, which apartment did you used to live in?
Yeah.
And she says the whole house.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And the thing is, neither Brad nor Amy knew the history then. They didn't know Charlotte Knapp was Samuel Slaughter's granddaughter, born and raised right there.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. The questions they could have asked.
Exactly. They talk about how much they regret not being able to ask her more or see family photos she might have had.
It just shows, doesn't it? History isn't just in books. It walks up to your ladder sometime.
Precisely. It's an ongoing discovery.
So that Charlotte Knapp story really grounds the history. But let's rewind way back. Before the grand house, what was originally on that spot?
Well, the earliest documented use, believe it or not, was a blacksmith shop.
A blacksmith?
Yeah, Elder Aaron Jackson's blacksmith shop, built around 1824, right where the main house is now.
Humble beginnings.
Very. Then the property changed hands in 1849. A fellow named Thomas Jefferson Brooks bought the lot for $400.
Okay, $400 in 1849.
And he built a house there, but it was much smaller, just a rectangular-shaped home, the predecessor to what we see now.
And this Thomas Jefferson Brooks, was he important in early Waverly?
Oh, definitely. He was quite active, a merchant, had a general store on Broad Street.
Mm-hmm.
He was even a paymaster for the New York and Erie Railroad, the Susquehanna Division.
Okay.
And very involved civically. He was one of the formal applicants when Waverly incorporated back in 1854.
So a founding figure in a way.
You could say that.
Yeah.
He eventually sold the house, that smaller house, to DeWitt Slaughter in 1857.
And the price then?
$1,500, which, again, gives you a sense that it was still a fairly modest home at that point.
Right, not the mansion it would become. Now, you mentioned something peculiar, an octagon house.
Ah, yes. This is one of my favorite bits. So there was this unusual octagon-shaped home.
8 sides, really?
Yep. Built around 1846 by a guy named Andrew S. Rice. And it originally stood in the west yard of 208 Chemung Street.
In the yard, okay.
But here's the twist. In 1879, Samuel Slaughter, we'll talk more about him soon, he had the entire octagon house moved.
Moved, like picked up and relocated.
Exactly, down the hill slightly to 7 Athens Street, just below the main house property.
Wow. Why?
It became a two-family rental, income property for the Slaughter family. Moving buildings wasn't actually that uncommon back then, believe it or not.
Okay, that's wild. So what happened to this wandering octagon house?
Well, unfortunately, its fate is a bit unclear.
Wait.
It disappeared sometime after 1930. Could have been a fire, could have just been torn down.
Shame.
Yeah. And in its place, a ranch home was built in 1950 for a Mrs. Mary Alamo. But here's where it gets really neat, connecting back to the Zehrs.
Uh-huh.
In January 2017, Amy and Brad actually bought that property at 7 Athens Street, the one with the 1950 ranch house.
No way.
Yes. So after 67 years apart, that piece of land is effectively rejoined with the original Slaughter family estate.
That's incredible. Like putting the puzzle back together.
It really feels like that, doesn't it? A
Yeah.
full circle moment.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly. Let's dive into that defining period, the Slaughter era, 1857 to 1945. Starts with DeWitt Slaughter buying the property.
Right. DeWitt, a wealthy retired farmer, he, his wife, his son Samuel, and daughter Nettie all moved to Waverly in 1857. But it's really his son, Samuel Wickham Slaughter, who becomes central to the house's story.
And this is where the major transformation happens, right? The rebuild.
Precisely. Local sources, rumors, previous owners, newspaper clippings, they all confirm it. The home was essentially rebuilt in 1873.
Why do it?
Yes, by DeWitt for Samuel.
Yeah.
Apparently as a wedding gift when Samuel married Charlotte Wells.
Oh, wedding gift. Wow.
And this is the moment it was, quote, totally renovated into its Eastlake style and heavily ornamented design that remains today.
Okay, let's talk about that style. Victorian Eastlake.
Go ahead.
For people listening, what does that look like? What makes the Zehr estate such a prime example?
Right. Eastlake is, it's a specific type of Victorian architecture. Think less about fussy curves and more about geometric, often machine-cut decorative woodwork. It highlights the wood itself.
Okay.
So the Zehr estate, it's big, over 5,000 square feet, clapboard siding, slate roof, but it's the ornamentation that screams Eastlake.
Like what specifically?
You've got this asymmetrical design, which is common, 2.5 stories. Look at the gables, these triangular parts under the roof. They have this amazing turned open stick work, like intricate spindles, pendants that look like flowers, patterned boards, carved details, a sawtooth edge.
Sawtooth.
Yeah, like a jagged pattern. It's on the frieze, too, that band under the eaves. And herringbone patterns. Even the porch posts have these incredibly elaborate carved tops called capitals.
It sounds incredibly detailed.
Oh, it is. The Zehrs are using 10 different paint colors on the outside just to highlight all these different elements.
10 colors, that tells you something. And inside, or rather technologically, was it cutting edge for its time?
Absolutely. They embraced modern conveniences. Steam heat was installed in 1879.
Big deal back then, I imagine.
Huge. Samuel Slaughter actually gave a testimonial about it in the Geneva Advertiser in 1881. He raved about the uniform temperature, no dust or gas like older systems.
Yeah.
So it was way better than hot air furnaces or stoves.
He sounds like an early adopter.
Definitely. And outside, too, 1878, they laid flagstone sidewalks and curbing brought in from quarries in Laceyville, Pennsylvania.
Nice touch.
And they placed a, quote, fine horse block and hitching post right out front. So, yeah, very much a modern upscale home for the 1870s and 80s.
So, Samuel W. Slaughter, clearly a man of means. What else did he do in Waverly? What was his impact?
He was really influential. He started as a prominent druggist, had various partnerships, then retired from the day-to-day business. But he stayed very active. He was vice president and a director of the Citizens Bank, a director in the Waverly Waterworks Company, in fact, one of its main promoters.
Ah, the waterworks again. Makes sense.
Right. Also involved with the Hall and Lyons Furniture Company. And beyond business, he was a very active liberal member of the Presbyterian Church. Helped fund their new building.
Generous.
Yes, known for his quiet charity work, too, helping the needy, a major figure in town. He sadly passed away in 1894. The cause listed was Bright's disease, which generally meant kidney failure back then.
A significant loss for Waverly, clearly. And his wife, Charlotte Wells Slaughter, she seems to have stepped up after his passing.
Well, she was always active, even before he passed. They married in 1873, remember. She was a leader in her own right, especially in church and social circles. Deeply involved with the Waverly Presbyterian Church, like Samuel. Also worked with the Susquehanna Valley Home, state orphanage. And the Tioga Chapter Anier, Daughters of the American Revolution down in Athens, Pennsylvania. She was descended from Revolutionary War figures.
Wow.
And she supported the Ladies' Auxiliary of the People's Hospital. By all accounts, she loved to entertain.
The house must have been lively.
Absolutely. Lots of musical events, bridge parties, those DAR colonial teas, reading circles, social gatherings, a real hub. She passed away in 1912 from apoplexy, what we'd likely call a stroke today. Left a sizable estate, about $40,000.
So the next generation, Samuel and Charlotte had one child, right? Mary Gertrude Slaughter.
That's correct. Their only child, Gertrude. Born in 1890, went to a good school, Emma Willard.
And she got married in the house too, didn't she?
Yes, quite the affair. February 2nd, 1915. She married George Brinker Knapp right there in the Chemung Street home.
Must have been beautiful.
Oh, descriptions mention about 200 guests, an orchestra, a 4-course supper. Gertrude wore a white satin gown, veil, lots of lavish gifts. It sounds like a major social event for Waverly.
And her husband, George Brinker Knapp, what was his background?
He also came from a well-known local family, youngest son of the J.W. Knapp and Son store proprietors.
Ah, the Knapps.
Right. His career was varied: salesman, managed a farm and milk business, even worked as an engineer out near Seattle for a while. Back in Waverly, he was involved with the Citizens National Bank like his father-in-law, stockholder, and director. Also secretary-treasurer of the Finger Lakes Golf Association.
A golfer.
Avid golfer, apparently. Very active in the Shepherd Hills Country Club. Held several offices there, including vice president when he died.
Which leads us to, well, a very tragic event, his death.
Yes, incredibly sudden and sad. October 8th, 1927. He was only 41.
What happened?
He was ruled an accidental shotgun discharge. He was reportedly cleaning the gun, preparing for a hunting trip.
Oh, no.
The gun fired. The shot passed through his chest. His wife, Gertrude, heard a noise and found him.
How awful for her.
Unimaginable. His funeral was private, but the accounts say many friends and community leaders attended. Shows the respect he had.
So, after George's death, Gertrude Slaughter Knapp is left as the sole proprietor. This must have changed things for the house.
It did. It seems this is when she began renting out parts of the main house. By 1931, directories actually list an apartment as vacant. And the 1940 census shows 2 apartments were rented out, besides her own living quarters. She also had her mother-in-law, Frances Knapp, living with her for about 10 years.
So, adapting to circumstances, but did she withdraw from public life?
Not at all. Gertrude remained incredibly active in Waverly, still involved with the Presbyterian Church, a dancing club. She served as treasurer of People's Hospital, raised funds for Tioga General Hospital,
Wow.
president of the Girl Scouts Committee, even scout commissioner, on the executive committee for the Tioga Health Unit, and still a member of Shepherd Hills Country Club.
She kept very busy.
Absolutely. So the house remained this family anchor occupied by 4 generations of the Slaughter Knapp family for, well, roughly 88 years altogether.
88 years, that's a long time. Before we move past the family era, there's one more key figure we need to talk about, the architect.
Yes. Azariah J. Venata, the designer and builder of 208 Chemung Street.
What else did he do? Was he prominent in Waverly?
Very much so. He wasn't just the architect for this house. He was a busy carpenter, architect, and contractor throughout Waverly. Really shaped the look of the town.
Like what other buildings?
Well, some are still around today. The Merriam Block, 319 Broad Street, part of the current Baptist Church. Those are his.
Okay.
Others he built are gone now, sadly. The Shipman Building, the Town Clock Block, the Methodist Episcopal Church. He was also superintendent of the Waverly Waterworks. Seems everyone was involved with that.
Huh. It seems so.
And a prominent Mason, too. So yeah, a major player in Waverly's development.
Okay, so Venata builds this masterpiece. The Slaughter Knapp family lives there for generations. But then 1945 arrives, the end of an era for the house.
It really was. In September 1945, Gertrude Slaughter Knapp sold the entire estate to a Mary and Fralick. And this sale, it really reflected a bigger trend happening in the 1940s.
What was that?
Large, grand homes like this all over the area were becoming difficult for single families to maintain. So many were converted into apartments or even commercial use.
And that's what happened here.
Exactly. Mary Fralick undertook some major conversions. The main house itself was divided into 6 separate apartments.
6? Wow. What did that involve?
Well, significantly, the 3rd floor ballroom, which must have been magnificent, was removed during this conversion.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is. And the changes didn't stop there. The former carriage house down at 9 Athens Street, that became 2 apartments.
Okay.
And another former outbuilding also became an apartment, and she added 7 cinder block garages there too.
So a complete transformation from grand estate to essentially an apartment complex.
Pretty much. And here's another poignant twist.
Go on.
After selling the home, Gertrude and her daughter, Charlotte, same Charlotte from the 1984 story, actually came back and rented apartments in their former home.
You're kidding. They rented apartments in the main house and carriage house.
That's what the records indicate. Imagine coming back as a tenant to the house you grew up in, the house your family defined for generations.
Wow, that speaks volumes. What about Mary Fralick, the buyer? Did she have experience with properties?
Yes, she and her first husband, Lauren Pierce, had previously operated the Marylorn Motel. So managing rental units wasn't entirely new to her.
Okay, so this multi-unit phase lasted quite a while then.
It did. For 65 years, the property operated as an apartment complex.
Until?
Until 2010. That's when Amy and Brad Zehr purchased it from Amy's father, Richard Morris, who had owned it for about 40 of those years.
Ah, so it stayed in Amy's family, in a way, before they took over the restoration.
Exactly. And their purchase really marked the end of that 65-year chapter and the beginning of its current life. The revitalization back towards a single-family historic estate, but with all those potential future uses we talked about.
It's an amazing journey. We've covered almost 2 centuries, haven't we?
We really have.
From a blacksmith shop to this grand Victorian statement, then carved up into apartments, and now this dedicated, loving restoration.
Yeah, we've seen the architecture shift, met these prominent families who really shaped Waverly and uncovered these surprising, sometimes very personal, sometimes tragic stories that happen within those walls.
This whole deep dive into the Zehr estate, it really drives home a point, doesn't it?
What's that?
That pretty much every old building, anywhere, holds these incredible layers, human stories, ingenuity, community history, just packed in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, what hidden gems, what untold stories are waiting in your community, maybe just around the corner, waiting for someone to peel back those layers and bring their history into the light.
A great thought to end on. And speaking of bringing history to light, if anyone listening does have knowledge, maybe pictures or any extra info about the Zehr estate, or that Octagon home, or the Venata family, or the Slaughters, or Knapps.
The Zehrs would genuinely love to hear from you. They're still actively piecing things together.
Right. And the best way to reach them is via email.
Yes, the email is amy@zehr.net. That's AMY@ZEHR.net.
Perfect. Amy@zehr.net.